What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for continuing to tune in to the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. And shout out to everybody for tuning in on this Tuesday, the first of the month. First of the month is in the building. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? And you know what that means, right? That means that the best time to join the Bag Chasers and the best time for you to really be able to level up is right now because the first of the month, the beginning of the month, is the best time to join a chaser. So if you're not a Patreon member, if you're not a Bag Chaser, and you're looking forward to getting this real estate game from somebody that actually lives it, does not finance it, and put up my own money and experience it, build houses, buy them turnkey, rental properties, whatever it is that you want to learn, we will be doing a series of live streams inside of the Patreon starting this weekend. In addition to Stock Club, in addition to the videos, in addition to the mastermind sessions, in addition to the meetups. So if you're not a Bag Chaser, if you're not a Patreon member, the best day, literally, to join the Bag Chasers is the beginning of the month. All right. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you twice. I'm not going to go back and forth. If you want to join the Bag Chasers, if you're trying to be, you tired of being dusty, I know about the port strike. I know how that's going to affect the grocery stores. We're going to have a conversation about that in Stock Club. I know about what's going on with truckers. Listen, get your money, work hard. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about being a chaser, right? It's a mindset, it's information, it's knowledge, and it's a community. So if you are a chaser, number one, you need to make sure that you get into the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos. But here's the other side of it, right? I am an example of what I advocate for, and I'm different, okay? And so the reason that I say that is because like you work a regular job. A lot of people that's watching this right now, shout out to my truckers, shout out to my port workers, shout out to my police officers, shout out to the people that's working from home, the homemakers, whatever it is that you do. Shout out to all of y'all, the teachers, everybody. A lot of people do all of these things on a regular basis, but you still only one layoff, one situationship, one pandemic, one strike from another industry that you're not even in that then affects what you got going on from basically going back to square one within a matter of days, weeks, a month, 6 months, a year. Why would I even? And then you're going to be sitting there complaining, talking about, you know, oh man, the Biden administration, the Harris administration, the Trump administration, politics, migrants, all of that stuff. I bring the news because I'm keenly aware and I want to alert y'all and have y'all understand exactly how things is going to play out and how it's going to affect America, but I'm never going to leave my fate up to a presidential election. As much as I believe that Trump is the best for this country, you better believe that I am never going to put my hands in the fate of somebody else, or my fate in the hands of somebody else. I'm never going to allow for somebody to determine whether or not I can feed my family. I'm never going to depend solely on a job to make sure that I'm okay and hope that the industry, or going to a profession that's job protected, hopefully I can work for the next 30 years and ensure that my family is okay. And if that's who you are, I'm cool with that. If you the type of person that need to depend on something or somebody else, or oh man, I hope Sean Fain, the president of UAW, can negotiate us some better wages for the next 5 years, and then hopefully I don't get laid off and all of my product go over to Mexico, or hopefully Chinese automakers don't come in and upset the economy, and hopefully they don't raise prices on groceries, and hopefully, you know, I don't deal with hope. That's why I walked away from the whole Democratic Party in the first place, because that was the whole pitch from the Obama campaign, is hope. And now we getting the remix of it with joy. Joy. We need to come together. No, I need to be able to make sure that my family is straight. I want to make sure that my daughter is in a position where she never have to depend on the federal government, or can look at a man and say when she grows up, I like this guy based off of character, not his ability to save me from my own decisions or protect me from my own problems. That's what being a bag chaser is. It's no longer dependent on the federal government, no longer dependent on people to do for you, and then putting yourself in a position. And maybe, yes, we have to make the sacrifice because there is no shortcuts. I'm gonna just warn you before you join the chasers, because I know some of y'all looking for a magic wand. You got to put in the work. That's why we have a community to encourage you. That's why I do mastermind sessions, to make sure that you understand why we do this and how long it's going to take to get there. There is no easy way. You're not going to get rich overnight at all. It take work. It's a mentality. It's a community. It's encouragement. It's making smart decisions for a longer period of time and putting yourself in a position to win, so that when you get the opportunity, you can win. It's going to take work. It's going to do all of that. But this is what I do guarantee you. I can't guarantee you that you get the results, but I can guarantee you that if you put in the work, you'll be in a much better position, and you'll be financially better off than you would be had you never met us and you never joined the Chasers. So I can give you all of the information, but I can't make you watch. I can give you the community, but I can't force you to tap in. We are over 10,000 strong. We love each other. We support each other. We do not, I'm not going to invest your money for you. I'm just going to show you the examples. I'm going to show you how to read the charts. I'm going to give you my life experiences. I'm going to document it for you. I'm going to show you my receipts. And then you do what you want to do with the information from there. But if you are not the type of person that is self-motivated, if you're looking for somebody to give you something, if you waiting on somebody to give you a handout, if you're looking to be saved, this probably ain't the community for you. But if you actually willing to work and you want to level up and you want to align yourself with a group of people that's going forward and up, and they not dependent on like, yes, we all have a vested interest in what happens locally, nationally. I don't want to be in a position where, oh, Hurricane Helene came in and ruined everything, and now my whole life is in shambles after 20 years of working. No, no, nope. Nope. No more I've been there. In my early 20s, I've been there. And when the industry went, so did my finances. And that day, when I had my daughter, I said, never again. I will never, ever, ever, no matter what happens, I'm going to win. If Kamala Harris wins, I win. If Donald Trump wins, I win. I win no matter what. I am never going to be on the other end of the stick talking about, can you help me? I'd rather be the person helping than looking for help. I'd rather be in a position to help than look for help. I went over and I visited some people yesterday, and I gave out like a bunch of. I'm not gonna say how much, because then I know people be watching this. I know people from my own family be watching this, and they be trying to count how much I didn't give to that person and how much I gave. I gave out of the goodness of my heart, not because I had to, just because I'm in a position to do so. And I'm different, and I understand that I'm different. A lot of us is different. This niche is different. We different. Everybody else went out partying yesterday. You know what I was doing? I could have took the night off and let Q to ran the panel. I could have took the night off and you know what I'm saying, had other people in position. I'm a working entrepreneur. I'm a working manager. I never miss. I knew I knew that when I woke up this morning, I had to get up early because the time zone is 3 hours different, but I make sure that I'm still going off of East Coast time. So even though I'm out here on the West Coast, I'm East Coasting with my time because I still have to be in a position to make sure that I feed the people, that I'm on point, that I never miss, that I never have no excuses, because you can't sit there and tell me or Anton, this is what happened. Nope, because you never controlled the controllables. You never controlled the controllables. You didn't. I don't make excuses. Everybody else went out. They partied last night. They partied hard. They were sending me pictures. I seen different people online. And I was over here cooking up, preparing for the day, making sure that I'm in a position. And guess what? I'm richer than every last one of them. Anton, you need to have balance. Nope, I don't have no balance. I'm all gas, no brakes. All offense, no defense. Anton, you gotta nope. We different. We different over here. I'm all gas, no brakes. I'm not worried about that's not fun to me. It's not fun to go out and party and then miss out on a bag. That's not fun to me. I'm sorry. I'm built different. As a leader of the bag chasers, I'm just built different. When everybody else was partying, I was on the live stream kicking it, and I was just like, listen, we're gonna run it up on this side. I knew that after the live stream, I had to immediately get into bed. So before I even jumped on the live stream, the majority of the day before I even went out and kicked it with people, I was already putting things in place to where, like, if you see my video that dropped this morning on the Anton Daniels channel, I recorded that yesterday because I knew that I needed to sleep in a little bit because Mondays are a little bit more strenuous considering that we live stream later into the night. And so I'm like, okay, well, listen, I know that I need to sleep in for an extra hour in order to be able to prepare. And I'm on West Coast time. Let me go ahead and get all of my work done. Let me make sure that I record this video and get it out. Let me make sure that this short and this reel and this TikTok goes out this morning. All of that stuff is already proactively planned. I don't leave my fate up to a situation. I was never the type of person that was late at work. I'm not the type of person that's going to say, oh man, my car broke down. No, I had left out a half hour earlier just in case something happened because I don't miss ever. I don't miss a live stream. I know that I got a trip that's going out to Romania later on this month. I'm already planning. Okay, well, let me see something. What does my schedule look like? Am I gonna be on the plane during this time while I'm on a flight? Well, then that means we might have to do a pre-record. Okay, so this day we're gonna book it off, block off this day, block off that day. Let me make sure that this happens. What's the time zone difference? Okay, am I gonna be streaming during this? All right, if I gotta go to that thing over there, then we gotta adjust for the time zone difference because if it's the complete opposite of what we got going over here, then we got to make the adjustment on that side. Ain't no excuses, ain't no missing, ain't no conversations, ain't no vacations. Vacation is after we get to the bag, then we do what we want to do. I'm the type of person to go and work it out and go and get a bag just so I can give it away just because I got the ability to do so. I ride luxury cars and I don't even drive them that often. I might spend maybe 30, 40 minutes, but I want it there just in case I feel like driving. That's just the way that we do things over here. We got a different mentality. We not waiting for any establishment or any politician or any opportunity. Oh man, there's layoffs going in the industry. Not for me. Not for me. A layoff is an opportunity. I'm sorry, give me a second to cook. A layoff is an opportunity. You getting laid off means that I got an opportunity to be able to take advantage of the fact that you got laid off somehow, some way, whether that position is open, whether I can get a consulting fee as a result of it. I might even be the one that went in and got you laid off. They may have consulted with me and I said, hey man, y'all got too much bloat in middle management. You need to lay off these people over here. I might have got a bag for laying you off. I ain't even gonna cap. I'm the type of person to go in and say, hey man, how can we increase profitability? Okay, listen, give me equity in the company. I want to get paid based off of the performance that I have. Y'all need to go ahead and lay these people off over there, let them find another job. That's what I am. I am I'm a capitalist to my heart. Cutthroat when it comes to taking care of business. No feelings at all. I be looking at people like, hey, give me a list of all of the people that's always walking in late. Let me see what they talking about. Let me see what their performance is like. I'm a competitive, gamifying to put all of the numbers up on the board to see what everybody is doing in order to make sure that we seeing who really winning and who losing. I will embarrass you when it comes to this bag chasing game. I do not miss under no circumstances. Nothing and nobody will get in the way of what it is that I got to do and take care of my business. Nothing. Nothing. And guess what? My family, they know that. My people, if nobody else can come through, you know who they call? I'm going to pray for you and then I'm going to give you your pink slip on the way out the door. Hey, listen, I'm praying for you. I hope you do well. God bless you. This is probably not the place for you. Oh no, no, no. It's not you, it's us. I'm quick to tell hey, listen, I'm quick to tell a woman, listen, it's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me. Listen, I can't participate. I can't go down that path. And it ain't got nothing to do with you. You gorgeous, you beautiful. It's not you, it's just me. I'm not built like that. I'm quick to tell a person it's not you, it's me. Without even thinking, Anton, you come out and party with nah. What is this? Something wrong with? No, it's not y'all. Y'all go out. Y'all go have fun. It's not you. It's me. That's a. If anybody knowing me in person, if anybody has spent an extended period of time with me in person, you know that I'm a considerate because I'm a nice person. So I want to hear what you got to say, and then I'm gonna make the adjustment. Hey, Anton, listen, the event is over, but we got the after party over there. You know what? I'm gonna think about it. You ain't gonna come. Listen, if I don't come, it's because it's not y'all. I think that y'all cool, but it's me. It's me. I got a lot to do. I got a lot to take care of. I got to prepare for this. Oh, Anton, you got it. I just be looking like they keep talking too long. I just start walking out the door. It ain't personal. It's not you. It's me. And everybody know me. Oh, that ain't personal. That's just Anton. If he show up late to the party, you know what? Anton has some work to take care of. Where's Anton? He was taking care of some work before you got here. I was, and I was out. I was taking care of business. I had to make some adjustments. I recorded while I was on my way. I'm multitasking. I don't care nothing about what anybody is doing. I am in my own world, running my own race, and I just finally found a community of people that's going the same way as me because we different. We different. I would never tell you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. We different. We run our own race. We go and get that bag, and we take care of business. Hey, Chief Robinson, moderators, time out, Chief Robinson. Nobody interrupts me while I'm on my rants. I don't do rant interruptions. We like your opinion. If this was the Anton Daniels channel or the After Hour show, I would say it a little bit differently. I would say it a little bit more vulgar. I promised somebody that I would try to stop cussing as much. I'm gonna start with the Millionaire Morning Show. I promised somebody I would stop cussing as much. I'm gonna start with the Millionaire Morning Show, but I'm not that far removed. I would have told you to suck something. Honest to God, everything in me was telling me to tell you to suck something. I don't know if you know who I am, but you might be new here. I'm different. My slogan used to be F your feelings. I'm trying. I'm trying to be nicer. I am, but I don't care. Not at all. I've never lost subscribers ever. I don't care about your subscription. I don't care about none of that. I'm gonna get it off. All right? Okay, pumpkin? Now shut up and get this work. Get entertained. Learn to get the medicine inside of the candy. Take your L, go home, come back tomorrow. Okay? All right. Let me go ahead and do a little bit. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. And if you want to see this type of energy in person, you want to see what I'm really like in person, come to the show. Link to the show, discount code Anton is there. You know what I'm saying? We get it in. I don't know what these people think that like I'm so much nicer than I used to be. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, y'all ready to get started with the show? All right, let me read a few of these super chats and then we're gonna get it popping. Fi Brown, my dog, says, yo, none of the smoke is so clever. Fact, dog. We gonna have this conversation today. We definitely gonna have this conversation today. St. Louis is in the building, says, what fragrance do you put on to start the day? Soap and water and lotion. Preferably, what is it called? Cocoa butter scented. Lotion, all lotion. Soap, water, lotion, toothbrush, Colgate toothpaste, tongue scraper, Listerine. You know what I'm saying? That's what I rock. Nothing extra. I don't do all of the spraying of the cologne. I don't do none of that. Soap and water is what we need. Neutral says morning time to chasers. Got to join the Discord ASAP. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. Titanius says, hey, AD, sent you an email for a coaching session. I hope to hear from you soon. I got my Tiege Hanley. Yes. Hey, shout out to the Tiege packs. Shout out to the Tiege packs. We gonna get to it. James Watt says, salute AD. Thank you for your value. No, thank you. I appreciate you. Alpha Eskimo is in the building, says migrants about to get all of the port workers jobs as temps. We're gonna talk about it. Shout out to P Shank. I see you. Shout out to P Shank, says good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels and the Millionaire Morning Show. I appreciate you, P Shank. Let me make sure that I acknowledge the Cash Apps because I always want to make sure that the Cash Appers is taken care of. Mike that dude. Shout out to Mike that dude. I appreciate you, big dog. ESDC, I appreciate you also. And Emmanuel Williams. Shout out to Emmanuel Williams. I appreciate you also. All right. Y'all ready to go ahead and get started with the show? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. First things first, Quick Hits. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to have an entire segment dedicated to each individual one, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop of what's happening. First things first, a local pro boxer was killed in a South Los Angeles shooting. Check it out.
A local boxer shot and killed in South L.A., and now the heartbroken mother of Malik Birdsong is speaking out as police search for the people who did it. Thanks again for joining us here on ABC 7, Hulu, and wherever you stream. I'm Ellen Leyva.
And I'm David Ono. The mother of boxer Malik Birdsong says that her son was returning home for Sunday dinner when this happened.
She says that she watched gunmen execute her son just outside her home. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Starr spoke with the grief-stricken mother.
The family of 31-year-old WBF International welterweight boxing title holder Malik Birdsong says he was training hard for an upcoming title fight next month. That is, until tragedy struck.
It's senseless. It's just senseless. It don't make sense to me.
Zanya Birdsong left traumatized after she says she witnessed gunmen execute her son Malik just outside her South LA home late yesterday afternoon, just before 5.
I don't know how to process it. He's a triplet. I lost his other 2 brothers at birth. He survived it. It's like I'm numb.
Zanya says her son came home to join the family for Sunday dinner, and before he could even get out of his car, gunmen drove up and started firing at him. She says her son exited his vehicle and took off running, and the gunman followed close behind him, shooting. She says her son fell to the ground on the side of her home. The gunman stood over him and executed him. With her eyes closed, Zanya speaks to her precious boy.
I love you. I just love my baby. I love my baby. They murdered my child in front of me. In front of me. Who does that?
Police say 2 gunmen shot and killed Malik and took off in a getaway car. Police searching for the shooters and a motive. Malik's family says he was not a gang member or a troublemaker. They say his passion was boxing and helping the less fortunate.
We'll pass out food and ask homeless people, the less fortunate, what size you wear, are you hungry? And then he would sit with them and talk with them and ask them what happened.
As for the gunman who murdered her son,
I don't wish death on nobody, not even the ones who murdered him. I don't have it in my heart to wish death on nobody. That's not me.
Hello, I'm Mark.
That's crazy. That's insane. I'm asking the same questions that y'all asking inside of the chat. What the hell is he involved in? Because see, that's not something that's off of opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like you getting carjacked and then somebody winds up killing you as a result of the carjacking because you tried to fight back and nothing like that. That's not that. This is something like this is personal. Whatever it is that's happening, and I can't speculate, but this is personal. Y'all got to learn to remove yourselves from certain situations. B, once you out, get out. Get out the hood. Don't go back. Don't go to see what's going on. I don't care if it's 20 years later. I'm never going back. I'm not interested. That's insane. Jesus Christ. Well, prayers up for the family. I hope that everything is better for her, but gosh, that is very, very bad. Next up, Tim Pearson, top aide to Eric Adams. Obviously, we know that Eric Adams is fighting indictments and charges and all of that stuff. He's out on bond. But Tim Pearson, who is basically one of Mayor Adams' top right-hand people, resigned, right? Just yesterday.
Just days after Mayor Adams was indicted on corruption charges, one of his closest aides has resigned. Timothy Pearson is the 5th senior member of the administration to announce his departure in the past 3 weeks. Eyewitness News reporter Phil Tate, live at City Hall with this very latest development. Phil, good morning.
Yeah, Charlene, good morning. It's been less than a week since Mayor Adams was indicted on federal charges, and the spiraling crisis inside City Hall continues. Well, this is the now 5th member of the Adams administration has turned in their letter of resignation, this time coming from Tim Pearson. Well, this amid federal probes taking a good look at Mayor Adams' inner circle, including the mayor himself. Now, Pearson had served as a senior advisor on public safety to the mayor, a former high-ranking official in the police department. Now, he's been named in multiple lawsuits as he's currently under investigation by another city agency for his role in a brawl at a shelter for homeless migrants. Now, the FBI had seized his phone a month ago and served him a subpoena. Now, Pearson added to a list of resignations from Adams' camp from former Police Commissioner Edward Caban, Schools Chancellor David Banks, Chief Legal Advisor Lisa Zornberg, and Health Commissioner Ashwin Vasan. Now, later this morning, we expect to hear from the mayor here at his weekly Q&A, but this time inside the City Hall Rotunda. It appears there'll be a different look than what we're used to seeing, with reshaping top leadership with this recent resignation. Now, yesterday, Governor Hochul, who has the power to remove Adams from office, says she's giving him the opportunity of riding the ship and instilling the confidence to move forward. Let's take a listen.
The operations of government, as someone who's been in government for 30 solid years, I know what functioning government is and looks like, and I'm making sure that I see that through the eyes of New Yorkers, that their lives are not disrupted by this.
I got a good team, and the team has been sitting down. We're very conscious of the moment that we're in. We're not, our heads are not in the sand. We're very conscious of the moments that we're in and what we must do moving forward to continue the success that we had.
She don't want the burden and the responsibility of being one of the very few people that had to remove a mayor, a sitting mayor from office. That's all it is. It's just optics and it's politics. And she don't want that responsibility. So she's saying, oh, I'm going to give him an opportunity to right the ship. Ain't no righting the ship because he's already went against the establishment. And he spoke negatively about the migrant crisis and how it was affecting the city. And we don't actually get to a part of the migrant crisis because Brandon Johnson actually just signed a new $100 million contract for a staffing company, even though the city is facing a $1 billion plus budget shortfall. But we're going to get there because some people play well with the establishments and others don't. Don't worry, I'm taking notes the whole time. So, yeah, one of his top aide, another top aide fallen victim, fell on their own sword. And it's just bad in New York. New York has got the spotlight for all of the wrong reasons right now. And then last but not least, Hall of Famer, NBA Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo dies at 58 years old.
We have some sad breaking news from the world of sports. Legendary NBA player Dikembe Mutombo has died at 58 years old. His family says he was fighting brain cancer The native of the Democratic Republic of the Congo played for nearly 2 decades in the NBA. He was known for his finger-wagging celebration after his many blocked shots. After his retirement, Mutombo became a global ambassador for basketball. I want to bring in Brian Buckmeyer. Brian, you actually met Dikembe Mutombo. What's your memory of him?
Yeah, so I met Dikembe at a UNICEF event back in 2017, and my memory of him was just being in awe, looking up at him, and he truly was a light in the room. Many people, as myself being a child of the 80s and 90s, remember him of that finger wag, and we talked about that. I told him I loved his career, I loved everything about him. There's a picture of me, and for the record, I want everyone to know, I'm 6'4", okay?
Giants.
I am not small, but he is 7'2". And the thing that I remember most about him is I wanted to learn so much about him, but he made the conversation always about me. He was so impressed that I had come from Toronto and I played soccer in college, and then I was a public defender. And I think he was such a light in terms of making you feel like the biggest person in the room and being so proud of the accomplishment that we all were doing in that room at a time.
And it even looked.
That's unfortunate. You know, sometimes I think to myself, when these guys, because Dikembe Mutombo, it's not like, you know, he was a heavy set guy or anything like that. He's been an athlete his entire life. Uh, Outside of, you know, all of the alleged hoes that he had. I mean, he was an NBA player. Who wasn't gonna have hoes as an NBA player, right? But outside of that, I mean, it seemed as though he was a good person and that he lived a relatively normal life, and then that he didn't get involved in anything. And the fact that he died at 58 years old, he wasn't even 60. I wonder if, and maybe the chat can let me know, because you know the chat is the co-host of my show. I wonder if when you get these giants and stuff like that, is it a strain on your organs or other parts of your body in order for you to be able to live a longer life? Because you never see anybody that's like 7 feet tall live to they like 90 years old or even 80. And I don't even think that I've ever heard it. I mean, outside of like what, maybe Hakeem Olajuwon and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you don't see a lot of these guys living longer lives. You know what I'm saying? They die early. 58 is still young to me. I mean, it's not young in the scope of, oh, you're not a 20 or a 30-year-old no more. But 58 is relatively young. You said he had brain cancer? He had brain cancer? Let me look this up really quick. You sure, Fi Brown? Brain. Wow, he did. He died after a battle with brain cancer. Jesus. Well, I guess it really don't matter how healthy you are if you get cancer, right? That's unfortunate, but prayers up for his family, prayers up for everybody in the entire NBA and everybody that's ever known him. And I heard that Pete Rose, I seen y'all say that inside of the chat. I actually seen that come across my timeline on Instagram today. I heard that Pete Rose passed away too, and they was releasing his final interview. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. All right. All right. So let me read a few more super chats, and then we're gonna go ahead and get it popping with the show. Because we got a lot to go over today. All right. Rob Brown says, morning AD and the Chasers. This hurricane affected my area, left me with no power since Friday. But no excuses, had to make a way because I can't miss. Keep me and my family in your prayers still. God bless you. And God bless everybody that's affected by the hurricane. We're going to go over that today. Rico Champion says, yo, I got my mama tuned in and watching the show, and now she's ready to be a bag chaser. I see you. I'm bringing along as many as I can, fam. Keep pushing AD. I'm on it, big dog. I got you. I got you. Corey Williams says, bag chaser salute, make the Bible of money making, where BC means bag chasers and AD for Anton Daniels. At least make some shirts like that for the Patreon. Remember where you heard it first. All right, I got you, Corey. I got you. The Masked Man says, hey man, you in the penthouse at the Vidara? I had to say, you can't be telling where I'm at. You can't be telling where I'm at. I got a whole loft in here. I got a whole loft. You know what I'm saying? So don't be telling where I'm at. Don't be telling all of my business. You know what I'm saying? Shh. I see you used to the high life too, huh? You used to the high life. That's how you know what's happening over here. I feel you, big dog. I feel you. Make sure y'all make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. First thing first, we want to go into this port strike. All right, let's get into it.
It is now 6:02 and breaking now as of 12:01 this morning. Dock workers across the country hit the picket lines. Thousands of members of the International Longshoremen's Association initiated a strike as their contract expired at midnight. The strike is set to impact dozens of ports across the U.S., including Port of Mobile and New Orleans and Houston. International Longshoremen Association president joined members on the picket line in New Jersey and emphasized the union's goals, including a ban on automation at U.S. ports.
All I'm saying is, if it was up to them, they'd like to see automation up and down in every port, all the way down to Houston. Well, that ain't never going to happen with me.
Industry experts say a one-week strike could cost the U.S. economy more than $3.7 billion. And experts say this could be the most destructive strike in more than 4 decades.
Also this morning, Fox News reporter Stephen Moody. He's live this morning with more on how this may impact our area. Stephen, good morning.
Good morning, Eric, and this could be a serious blow to our local trucking industry. You can see strikers behind me. They are protesting. You can hear chants of no contract, no work. They've been out here for hours as picket lines went up after midnight, and union leaders say they will strike for as long as they need to get a fair deal. Members of the International Longshoremen's Association are striking over higher pay and a continuation of a ban on fully automated equipment. Experts are reporting that the move will disrupt the transfer of a wide variety of goods from bananas to beer and even cars. One economic group is estimating that a week-long strike would cost the U.S. economy more than $2 billion, and that amount would only go up the longer the strike continues. So what does this mean for you? Supply chain experts say consumers won't see an immediate impact from the strike because most retailers stocked up on goods, moving ahead shipments of holiday gift items. But if it goes on for more than a few weeks, it could lead to higher prices and delays in goods reaching households and businesses. Now, we're going to continue to follow along with this. Once again, they've been out here for hours, and we're told that this isn't the only location that they're at. So we're going to continue to follow along with this story, and when we have another update, we'll be sure to bring that to you, of course, on air here on Good Day Gulf Coast and online as well. But for now, reporting live here in Mobile, Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
Let me tell you what I think about this strike, all right? Because I got mixed feelings and mixed reactions. I understand it because I was in an industry that was easily disrupted. One of the reasons why I don't understand why people are voting for Kamala Harris. Some of the people that are voting for Kamala Harris, admittedly, that work at some of these plants, and I worked in the steel industry. A lot of y'all are already familiar with that. Local 600 specifically, down in Dearborn, Michigan, right across from Detroit. And I know that Trump saved the steel industry. And the minute that I got in there, because they had basically had a years long, like multiple years long, hiring freeze prior to me getting hired in there. I just so happened to be born at the right time. And, my brother had got me in and everything like that. And they had years long hiring freezes because natural attrition, meaning that people just naturally retired or fell off or whatever, and they had no need for it because the industry was in turmoil back in the early 2000s, right? And so I knew going into that place that it was a possibility that I might not have a job 2 to 3 years, maybe even 4 years from now, when I had got it in the early 2000s, because it was an industry that was easily disrupted. So I understand the point of the union. I understand the point of labor. I understand the point of strikes. However, the other side of it is change is inevitable. And so I never put my whole future, or I never planned to be there for the next 30 to 40 years. The flip side of that is that this is a really different type of industry. When you talk about ports, and you talking about ports along the entire East Coast, you talking about the ability to disrupt an entire industry, because the West Coast is not going to start getting more, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to move any faster. And so what this is going to do, because we always talk about, and if you look at the presidential debate and you look at Kamala Harris and all of that, She says, and Donald Trump is going to drive up prices. And that's why I have an opportunity economy for all. And we're going to stop the price gouging. None of that matters, right? None of that matters. You're not going to stop prices from going up inside of grocery stores because the margins is already super thin. You want to talk about inflation? You want to talk about an impact to the economy? You want to talk about everyday people and a trickle-down effect that is going to happen as far as what's going on out here? Listen, everybody going to be affected. There is not one person that is not going to be affected in some way, shape, or form as a result of this industry, as a result of this strike. Everybody, car dealerships, truckers, nurses, grocery stores, gas prices, everything. If there is ever an issue that the president, the vice president, or any of these people need to really be addressing, because if there's anything that can truly turn this whole economy and this whole election on its head, it's almost like them being silent and not playing a role in getting this deal done or helping to get this deal done, even from a legislative perspective, actually plays in the hand of Republicans, because this is still on their watch. There could never be a worse situation for Kamala Harris and Biden completely remaining silent on this issue than 30 plus days out from being able to elect you as president of the United States of America. Then everybody's lives is turned upside down in less than 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And you're not going to see it immediately. You're going to start to see it 2, 3, 4 weeks from now. And for every day that they on strike, they say that it takes 5 days to get things back in order. Ships just sitting out there, dock, waiting to unload. World economies is affected because they shipping parts and prices over here, and food and cars and everything like that. Everything is going to be affected. Every day is messed up. And then I heard that over in Baltimore, that it got a little violent, a little more physical over there in Baltimore.
We start the top of the hour this morning with a Fox 5 News alert. Thousands of dock workers are on strike, causing ports across the U.S. to close.
Yeah, in total, 36 ports shutting down, including the port of Baltimore. Melanie Allenwick is there right now live, and she appears to be telling us since this morning that it's been heating up there, and it hasn't been a pleasant sight for many folks, especially the drivers coming in.
That's right. So for some people, I think it might have been a bit of a surprise. However, this has been in the news that it could be happening for a few weeks now. So you can see the picket lines behind me here. And this is the main entrance to the Port of Baltimore, the Dundalk Terminal. And you'll see they're walking around the picket lines in circles. Now, Baltimore police were here earlier reminding the picketers that they cannot block the entrance to the port. The longshoremen walked off the job at 12:01 a.m. There was confusion and anger as picketers initially tried to stop trucks from entering, and it did turn violent.
I come here for 7 years. I've pulled the trash and the debris out of here for the Port of Baltimore, and the officer told me to come back and go in there to get out of my way, and they attacked me and broke the windshield and serrated my face. Look at it.
Now, we don't know exactly what happened. The union members said the truck hit one of the picketers as they swarmed around it. We did see an ambulance come to assist, and we know that that gentleman did speak with police officers. Again, we'll let the authorities sort out exactly what happened there. Now, 45 members of the International Longshoremen's Association, 45,000 members. That's a big difference in a number, isn't it? They have all been asking for a 77% pay increase over 6 years and a ban on automation at their ports, a threat to their jobs, they say. Now, most retailers stocked up on goods prior to the strike, but if it lasts more than a few weeks, supply chain experts say it's consumers who are going to feel the direct impact of higher prices and product shortages, especially for things like fresh fruit, coffee, and cars. The U.S. Marine Alliance, which represents the ports, said it offered 50% pay increases and an agreement to keep current limits on automation, in addition to increased contributions to the retirement plans. But apparently that was not acceptable to the union members. We don't know what the next steps are in terms of the negotiations. Now, we do want to let you know that West Coast ports do remain open. They are a different union and working under a different contract, and many supply chain leaders have rerouted some of their goods and supplies. But on the East Coast, it's going to have to be a wait-and-see situation as to how directly everyone is impacted. I want to let you know that, again, we are going to try to get an interview with one of the local union leaders here as soon as we sign off. And if we get anything from their point of view, we'll be sure to bring it to you.
They offered a 50% pay increase over a 6-year span of the contract, and to keep the current automation in place, which that could be, to be honest with you, that could be, hey, we got the same plan to automate the same way that we was, the last time. 77% increase. I think that they're gonna cave. I don't think that the union is ever gonna cave. I think that the companies is gonna cave. They're absolutely going to cave, because the amount of money that they're losing, I don't know how they're gonna be able to fight off. The union is gonna be able to fight off automation or anything like that, but I believe that they're 100% going to cave. But let's talk about Biden and our current administration, about them completely remaining silent on this issue.
This week, America's busiest ports could come to a standstill, as 45,000 workers could walk off the job if union negotiators cannot reach a deal when their contract expires coming up Tuesday.
The move could cost our economy, get this, up to $5 billion a day.
Sunday Morning Features anchor Maria Bartiromo joins us now. Good morning, Maria.
Hey, team.
I've had a couple of conversations over the last 2 mornings with people in the know on this, and they all say the same thing, Maria. The president's going to have to do something to stop this strike.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, look, I mean, the dock workers know that they can go on strike because they've seen this movie before. The Biden administration has gotten involved in these work issues between unions and the corporations time and time again. I mean, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they threatened to join the picket lines, and they do join the picket lines. They attack the leadership of corporate America. It's so divisive. So these workers know that, yeah, sure, they could create a big issue and take to the picket lines, stop all of these products from moving, and they will get the raise that they want because they've seen this before. And so it again shows the ineptitude of this administration, but it also shows that inflation is about to go higher once again. I mean, we have had this last year of the Federal Reserve trying to rein in inflation. If you're talking about half of all goods shipped in containers in and out of the U.S. stopping, you're talking about produce. You're talking about everyday items that will not be on the shelves. Yeah, the administration will likely get involved, and we will likely see inflation spike once again. So we just saw this year of the Fed trying to rein in inflation by raising interest rates. Then they had to cut interest rates by a very shocking 0.5 point just a week and a half ago.
It wasn't shocking to the bag chasers. We predicted it inside of the Patreon.
And because the economy is weakening. And this is just going to add to that. And I would expect another spike in inflation. And I would expect an economy that gets impacted in terms of going to the stores and not finding what you need. This may happen on Tuesday, but this is certainly emergency moments right now for this administration.
Yeah. You do not. I believe that this might be the turning point. And the more that y'all suffer, you think you've seen suffering before. You don't know how many people are truck drivers, are dependent on this economy that is going to be furloughed. If there is ever an issue, and this is the honest to God truth, this don't have nothing to do with my opinion about the election. This is just leadership in general. If there's ever an issue that they need to get involved in, I know they speak a lot about women's reproductive. Think about this for a second. You got them going on a tour. They've been on tour for the last 2 years in campaign mode, both Biden and Harris. They've been in campaign mode for the last 2 years. And you know what they've been talking about? Reproductive rights. You know why? Because it plays on your emotions. They've been in campaign mode, spending billions of dollars touring around the entire country on taxpayers' dime and donations, talking about reproductive rights. So you can be loud on reproductive rights, but silent when it comes to the impending suffering of the people as a result of this port strike and how inflation is going to absolutely kill you. So I wonder who they're going to blame this one on. Are they going to blame this one on the pandemic? Are they going to blame this one on China? What are they going to blame this one on? No bipartisan support inside of Congress? What are they going to blame this one on? Because the U.S.'s number one priority, well, the number two priority, the number one priority is to make sure that we're safe. The number two, they already failed at that. The number two priority is to make sure that you have the ability to feed your family. The economy, when a country starts suffering and inflation absolutely impacts everybody, and you have to make a decision of whether or not you want to feed your family or you want to keep a roof over your head, that starts to change things. People start to ignore identity politics and they be like, all right, so listen, all right, you know what? We suffered a lot over the last 3.5 years, but I'm sure we can endure because I have hope. We have joy. When you start getting laid off, look, for all of my ladies, especially my black women that said that they voting for Kamala Harris, and we're about to get into it on this next subject. Let me ask you a question. How broke do you have to be before you switch your vote from the Democratic Party? How broke and how high does the cost of living have to go? Because we already, as a country, going down the toilet. How broke do you have to be before you decide that you want to switch your vote? And yeah, you know what? Identity don't make as much of a difference because my husband is laid off as a trucker and I got to carry this whole load by myself. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. If you have not already, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Best day to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. Mr. Too Fresh says, AD, did you talk to lead attorney? He has cancer. He talked about it last night. I have not. And I just found out about it. I didn't watch the stream or anything like that because I had a lot of business going on here in Vegas. I found out about it like you guys found out about it. So I'll try to reach out to him. God bless him. I don't know the extent of it. I don't know what type of cancer it is or anything like that. So before I publicly commented on it, because this is a serious issue, this is not something that, this is not a live, you know what I'm saying? This is not something that a live stream moment. Oh my God, this is content that we need to react to. When people having real life situations, I don't get involved on that front. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to figure out what the facts are. I have the ability to contact them in person, so I will reach out to them, but it's not something that I will publicly comment on because this is a health issue. You know what I'm saying? So God bless him and God bless his family. I'm praying for him now that I found out what was going on. But I found out the same way that you guys found out, just by happenstance. Somebody told me that he was doing a live stream. So James Watts says, yo, AD, I have 2 jobs. I work in Chicago. Is it a bad idea to go non-tax exempt for one job since Mohawk is giving my money away anyway? It is a very bad idea. It is a very bad idea because you got to remember, it doesn't matter whether you go non-exempt or not. The thing that most people don't have is discipline. It's not like you're going to save the money. And so what you'll see a lot of people do is they'll owe a whole lot of taxes and then they wind up having to pay interest on what they owe in the first place because the amount that you're taxed on is your adjusted gross income. It's the total of whatever it is that you make from your businesses or loss and the total of what combined with whatever it is that you're making on your regular jobs. So just because you got 2 jobs don't mean that you should go non-tax exempt. The better question is, how can you keep more of your money, not prevent yourself from being able to pay taxes by going non-tax exempt, which you still gonna owe taxes at the end of the year? It's how do you reduce your tax burden? You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't go non-tax exempt. I would act like it doesn't exist. And the better question is, how do we keep our more of our money inside of our pocket by reducing our adjusted gross income? That's the question that you want to ask yourself. All right. Shout out to you, James Watts. I appreciate you. Smooth Artist says, how can I convince more black people to vote for Trump? Let them suffer. Stop saving them from themselves. Frederico says, I hope they get that ban on automation. Bad enough workers got to worry about cheap illegal labor losing job to robots. Computer software is crazy. Change is inevitable, to be honest with you. Mrs. Amazing AB says, what up, though? What's up, Miss Amazing? I appreciate you. Smooth Artist says, will there be another civil war in America? Hopefully not. I don't want that. Turtle says, Anton, there are homeless people that will vote for Cam. I don't think there's a low until you turn conservative. People got to suffer through their actions before they hold accountable for what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into Cam. Let's talk about it, all right? All the smoke. So she recently appeared in an interview yesterday, and I didn't find out about it until you guys hit me up about it. What's up? I didn't find out about it until you guys hit me up about it. And she recently appeared in an interview on All the Smoke. Now, I know that there's a lot of content creators, and their job is to create content, because the more content that you create, the higher your profits go, especially if it's something that's a hot topic and people want to see. So first, before I even get into this portion of the show, and thank you, Truck and Blueprint, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Before I get into that portion of the show, let me say congratulations to Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson on landing an interview with Kamala Harris. Let me give them a round of applause. We have to give credit to content creators regardless of whether we agree with them or not. Because if the goal is to create content, now I disagree with them on some other things, and that's why I want to preface this conversation by saying this. To achieve 1 million subscribers and to be able to create compelling content that people want to watch is absolutely a hard feat. Even for former basketball players or former famous people and stuff like that. It is not something that is easy to do. We have to give people their flowers, regardless of whether or not we agree with them. We got to give people their flowers, regardless of whether or not we agree with them. Now that we've got that part out the way, let's actually have a conversation about what we experiencing right now, okay? Let me go ahead and preface this by saying that they did put
Welcome back to all
in
this,
here, right? And so what I mean by chapters is they put timestamps in. So you can be able to scrub through and find out what you're looking for. So with that being said, when they put the timestamps in, I want to read the timestamps before I get to the point where the portion that I want to show y'all, because we're not going to review the whole thing. I just want to show you what the timestamps say, okay? This is the timestamps. The timestamps are intro, meeting her husband, Doug, Bay Area sports, we believe in the Warriors, the mass exodus of Oakland sports teams. You following my theme here? Saw softball. Why? What is Bay Area sports? Meeting her husband, Dougie. Mass exodus of Oakland sports teams. She goes on to say people questioning her race. We reacted to that last night. How does a bill become law? So civics class. History of protests and restricting rights. HBCUs. Mental health issues in America. Protecting her own mental health. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? People want to know about economy. They want to know about the migrant crisis. They want to know about whether or not they're going to be able to feed their family. They trying to understand what's going on in these streets. What is these softball subjects? And again, shout out to them for landing her. Wasn't hard to do because they basically reaching out to anybody that agree with her. Not pulling up to none of the ops. And shout out to them for also putting the timestamps in. But what does this have to do with anything? Anything whatsoever? Now, the one thing that did catch my eye, similar to what it caught from a lot of people's eye, is plans to improve the economy. All right. So we're going to skip right over the plans to improve the economy. They put on their Sunday's best. And we're going to go right into it, all right? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
small business, black business. We actually just started our business in January, so we've grown from a show to a whole entire company. What is your economic plan moving forward for people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling for groceries and rent and homeowners?
So look, I grew up. So my sister and I were raised by our mother. We lived for a long time in an apartment on top of a child.
Now, you got to excuse my frustration because I've heard this. I've literally heard this same story at least 1,000 times. 1,000 rallies, 1,000 times. Thank y'all for the cash apps. I appreciate y'all for holding me down. I'm going to be reading those shortly. I've literally heard this story 1,000 times. No matter what the conversation is, no matter what it is, if it all comes back down to money or feeding your family or inflation or anything like that, I don't care if they're talking about gangbanging in LA. It always comes back down to, well, you know what? I grew up, my mother saved for a house, teenager, small business, all of that nonsense. It's the same thing. So I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to try my hardest to suffer through this. And I want to kind of get more of a substantive answer before we start to react to it, okay? You and I both know, if you've been tuning into the Millionaire Morning Show for any extended period of time and you've seen me do any reaction video to anything that Kamala Harris says, it's the same answer. Want me to give you the Cliff Notes for those of y'all that may have to use the bathroom? All right, so let me give you the Cliff Notes. Grew up middle class, mother saved for a home, raised 2 daughters, on top of a daycare, which was her like makeshift grandmother or mother's friend. So I'm really in tune with small business owners. I love small business owners. Small business owners are our lifeblood. I'm giving you the Cliff Notes before we actually watch the video. Then at some point, she's going to introduce the opportunity economy. She's going to say something about child care credit, $6,000, $25,000 for the homeowners. You can't start a business with $5,000, $50,000 tax credit. I'm going to break that down for y'all one day so y'all can really understand that. We really need to come together. Opportunity economy. My economic plan is an opportunity economy at all, for all of that. So we know the talking points. We know the pitches. We know her mother saved for a home, 2 kids, all of that. Intergenerational wealth. That's her new word. It's not generational wealth. It's intergenerational wealth. That's her new term. She says it every single time. She uses it at least 3 times when she's talking about anything money and financial related. Intergenerational wealth. You can take money out of your house in order to pay for kids to go to school. Dumb. You can take money out of your house in order to do this, start a business. Stupid. All of it is dumb. But I just want to give y'all the Cliff Notes because we already know what she's going to say before she says it, all right? So let's go ahead and get into it.
Care center. That child care center was actually owned by a woman who lived 2 doors down from us, Mrs. Shelton, who was, by all of our accounts and feelings, our second mother. She helped raise us.
Shout out to Miss Shelton.
And so she was a small business owner. So I'll start with the small business and congratulations on what you guys have done. I, from a child, knew who our small business owners are, right? I mean, you're business leaders, but you're also civic leaders. You take seriously your voice and how you can mentor, how you can grow, right? Communities and the sense of communities. I love our small businesses. And so a lot of my work in terms of building and growing the economy has focused on small businesses.
She worked in the Senate to make sure that they work with small community banks because community banks knows who's good and who's bad inside of the community. They understand these interdimensional, oversaturated, intergenerational wealth building businesses, and these people just want to work hard. So in our legislature, what I've done is I've worked with banks and all of these communities to make sure that they identify the people that need the loans.
And my vision overall is we need to build an opportunity economy in which we increase opportunity for all, including small business owners. So a lot of my work, even in the Senate, was about increasing access to capital through our small businesses and in particular through our community banks. So I've been responsible for billions of dollars more now going into our community banks because they're in the community and then they know who's in the community and where the talent is and who's doing good in the community, what the community wants. And so
they got their
part
pulse
of
on it.
my plan as president is to give small businesses, startups, a tax deduction of $50,000 to start up. Because right now the tax deduction is $5,000.
Can't do nothing with that.
That's exactly right. And see, the thing we know is that most of our small business, our entrepreneurs who want to start a small business, got a great idea, have incredible work ethic, but they weren't handed a bunch of money on a silver tray.
Like Trump was, right?
And they just need to get their foot in the door. So there is that. There is what I need to do and what we need to do around making housing and rent more affordable.
$25,000.
Part of the problem there is we have a housing supply shortage.
Yep.
My plan includes
Build 3
giving
million more houses
tax
by the end of
incentives
her
for home
terms.
builders to build 3 million more homes by the end of my first term,
Yep.
to increase supply to bring down cost.
Yep.
And to increase home ownership, a $25,000 down payment assistance to first-time home buyers.
Yep.
Because again, people just need to get their foot in the door.
They'll grind after that.
Right?
They gonna get it after that. Port workers is striking, truckers ain't got no jobs. Teachers is fighting with students. UAW members is being laid off. We gonna get it after that though. We gonna get it. We gonna get it. Energy prices is out the roof. People got second and third jobs. They work at Amazon and DoorDash at the same time. They got 2 phones, DoorDash on one of them, Grubhub on the other one, and Postmates in the background. They gonna get it after that. Oh, Jesus. We gonna get it after that. We got you. We gonna get it, y'all. Getting is gotten.
That's exactly right.
They'll grind after that.
That's exactly right. And we know home ownership, especially for the community, that's the fastest, most effective, and most sure ways to build intergenerational wealth.
I don't have no popcorn, so I gotta get a pretzel. Y'all ever had roll gold? Intergenerational wealth. That's the fastest way to build intergenerational wealth. You can pull money out of your home to start a small business. You can pull money out of your home to pay for your kid to go to college. Just take out a HELOC, a home equity line of credit at a high interest rate. 6-7%. No big deal. Just pull out a HELOC. Now, want to continue with the movie?
It's then when your child says, I want to go to an HBCU or some other college, and you say, well, honey, you don't have to take out a student loan. I'm going to take some equity out of the house. Or your child says, I want to start up a small business, and you can say, let me take some equity and help you.
First, what is that business? Let me make sure it's not no belt plane.
Well, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. You have something to pull from.
Right, you have something where it's about intergenerational wealth. Because see, here's how I feel about the economy and the economy I want to grow. We have, over the last 4 years, reduced Black unemployment to the lowest it has been in decades. Okay, that is an accomplishment.
Yep.
However, I believe, need to measure our success not just only about everybody's working, but can you build wealth?
Can you start saving?
Can you start saving? Can you buy a home? Can you start saving to take your family on vacation from time to time? Can you save enough so that...
Maybe we should pull some money and borrow from our 401ks while we at it. Pay ourselves back over time. Start a business. Would that be a good idea too? Since we're taking financial advice from Kamala Harris?
Christmas time for you and your children is not stressful, but something enjoyable, right? And so it's about, yes, we got to make sure that we have high employment, but also that we create opportunities for people to build wealth.
Opportunity economy.
Part of my plan is also to expand the child tax credit. $6,000 in the first year of your child's life.
Man, I could have used that one.
Because you...
I can't believe that Matt Barnes just said that. Did Matt Barnes just say that? Did Matt Barnes just say, man, I could have used that one? Did Matt Barnes hold on. No, Matt Barnes, former NBA player, Let me see something. Matt Barnes. I'm not really a pocket watcher like that, but I just got to see something. If the simping ain't on 10, I don't know what it was. Matt Barnes made a total of $35 million during his NBA days. And that's aside from his outside adventures and pursuits. Matt Barnes, according to the intranet, the internet is saying that Matt Barnes made a total of $35 million during his NBA days. I'm just telling you what the internet said. Quick Google search away. 35 M's. Did Matt Barnes just say, man, I could have used that one? When? When? What is he talking about? I didn't hear what I thought I heard. Give me a second. Man, I could have used that one.
Part of my plan is also to expand the child tax credit. $6,000 in the first year of your child's life.
Man, I could have used that one.
Because
is that the new wave to make sure that we can try to relate to people more? Let me take off my rose gold presidential Rolex and put on my Apple Watch because I could use that one too. Give me a second. Get it off the charger. I got to seem more relatable. Stimmy checks. I could have used it. Is these glasses too expensive? Let me take these off. Do this for the rest of this. What's wrong with these people, bro? What is wrong with these people? What made him say that? Honest to God, what made him say that?
you know what that means. First year, that's such a critical stage of a child's development. And it's expensive. A family's got to buy a car seat, a crib, the things that...
The necessities.
Because I start from the perspective that the vast majority of parents want to raise their children well. They love their children, but don't necessarily have the resources they need. And if we understand that the children of a community are the children of the community, we'll understand that an investment in something like the first year of a child's life benefits all of us.
Mm-hmm. Is that in stark contrast to making sure that we have reproductive rights for women to be able to make sure that they can... Do we want the babies or we don't want the babies? Just an observation for me.
But these are things about building what I call an opportunity economy, which is about helping people not just to get by, but to get ahead.
Yeah, get ahead.
Because
intergenerational wealth.
Look, here, maybe you've gathered this already. Here's where I come from.
I know I have.
Most people have ambition. They have aspirations. They have dreams.
Oh, God. Ambition, aspirations, dreams.
And they are willing to work hard. And if we give people the opportunity to actually meet those goals, they jump for it every time. But not everybody starts out from the same place in terms of having the opportunity to just get in there. And so my plans, whether it be $25,000 down payment assistance, whether it be a $6,000 child tax credit, or helping people in terms of what they need to do to be able to start a small business with a bigger tax deduction. The reason I'm saying all that is because when those folks are successful, we are all successful.
Community feels it.
And we actually strengthen the economy overall.
Absolutely.
When middle class is strong in America, America's economy is strong.
We are strong.
Yeah.
And it's a better country for all of us.
I'm giving myself a hug because you do good. We all do good. Middle class economy together.
All right, so we're running short on time. We're
Okay.
going to finish up with quick hitters. First thing to come to mind, let us know. Oh, cannabis?
What a fun interview. What a fun time. What an extraordinary time to sit here. Of all of the things that we could sit here. And let's just say this, Steven Jackson has respectfully, as a content creator, it's like he found every checkered pattern that he could find, the most checkered pattern that he can find inside of the Louis Vuitton store, and said, give me all of the checkers. Braid my hair, Lloyd, braid my hair to the back and give me all of the checkers. And I will wear this to church. Let me find all the y'all do know that just because it say Gucci or Louis Vuitton, if it got all the patterns on it and you got the matching top and the pants, you don't have to buy it. Just because it's expensive, I'm gonna give Matt Barnes some credit. Matt Barnes, he dressed well right here. Matt Barnes got on some white sneaks, tan pants, black shirt. Unrelatable as far as how he's commenting on Kamala Harris. Steven Jackson said, let me get all the patterns. Give me the most pattern. Make me look like a quilt. Make me look like a quilt. Whatever you got that got Louis Vuitton on it and that got all of the checkers, give me that one. Oh. Give me that pattern right there. Whatever you got that look like you can lay it on the bed and then y'all took it and y'all cut it up and y'all put it on my back and you get me the tops and the bottoms, give it to me. Give it to me. When I run, I want to look like a blur. I want to look like oh, Jesus Christ. Y'all said he ready for the circus? You say if he lay down on the ground, you can play chess on his back? Y'all ain't never been to the park where you can play chess and you take the big pieces and you can move it. All we got to do is listen. If you forget because I'm a chess player, so I like to bring my chessboard and I wrap it up and I roll it and I got my pieces. If you ever missing a chessboard, if you ever forget your board, just get Steven Jackson's jacket and put it on the ground and then you can play chess. If anybody ever missing a chessboard, ask Steven Jackson for his jacket. This was the most. It's disrespectful sometimes to content creators when you have serious issues. You got a Minecraft block suit on. It's it's disrespectful when you have a serious issue, and it's because you gotta congratulate them for getting the interview. But I heard that they was deleting comments because they was absolutely getting destroyed in the comments as a result of it. I heard they was feeling some type of way. I heard Officer Tatum said that Steven Jackson or Matt Barnes or one of them, I think it was Matt Barnes if I'm not mistaken. If I'm off, give me a little bit of rope. I heard that they had basically DM'd Officer Tatum and was hating me. Hey, give me the floor pattern. The same thing that I got. Give me the subway tile. The same thing I got in my bathroom. Just put it on my hookup. Whew. God bless us. But ladies and gentlemen, that's her recent interview on All the Smoke. I can't wait for Dave Ramsey's interview. Dave Ramsey actually issued an interview requirement or interview request to both Trump and Kamala Harris because he actually wanted to talk about finances and the economy and things that was meaningful to his audience. And Trump accepted. Kamala Harris says, we'll think about it later. And so she said, nah. So she only pulling up to certain platforms that's going to give her the softball interview. Yeah, I heard that they was deleting comments, bro. I heard they was deleting comments over there on the channel. But It is what it is. Listen, take your L, learn from it, make the adjustment, and go forward from there. Let me read some of the super chats. We're going to keep it popping. Shout out to my girl, Molly. I appreciate you, Molly. Thank you, baby. Trucking Blueprint says, I feel these workers as a trucker, but I am also an employer, so I see it from both sides. Yeah, you see it from both sides. See, we can be objective. The worst thing will be if these workers forced to go back to work without a deal. Adapt or die, automation is here. Yeah, people don't like to change. Change is hard for people to accept. Frederico says, it won't be that hard to land that interview. It's a George Floyd friendly platform. Do with that what you will. Yep, I agree with you. Advanced Perception says, yo, her story gets more poor every interview. Frederico says, when she says middle class, does she mean her Jamaican slave owning Irish ancestors allegedly? I don't know. Aaron 218 says, you might be black, struggle story never change. We all got a struggle story. Daryl and Quick, shout out to Daryl and Quick. I like that name. Says, hey, Anton, I'm from Detroit. Your content has been one of the main reasons why I'm not voting for Kamala. Let me get around the applause for my What up, though, Daryl? I see you, baby. What up? Turtle says, I wasn't expecting, hopefully, Daryl, and you pulling up to the Detroit show. I want to see you. I wasn't expecting Barnes and Jackson to press Cam, but to let her coochie pheromones silence they real thoughts made me lose respect. Bob Brown, my dog, says, AD, this story is cap. I vividly remember her saying her mom and sister lived over the top of a lady who helped raise them and owned a small business. Now she lived 2 doors down. Which one is it? I don't know. Rob Taylor says, Democrats say they love small businesses and they close them during COVID and allow big business, Walmart, Home Depot, etc. to stay open. That's true. Bob Brown says, also, this lady hands be all over the place when she talks. That pisses me off. They teach you to talk with your hands. If you look at Obama, he always talked like this. They teach you how to do that. Sometimes I do it too on purpose. Matthew Smith says, local 862 UAW Louisville. LAP laid off their last new hire class before 90 days. KTP 50% of Ford revenue is not hiring. Hours cut. 2-month chaser. 317 native. UAW for Kamala Harris. Workers is for Trump, though. Check the comments for this video. The comments is horrible. D got sauce. Maybe I'll make a whole video of that. We'll get there. Love USA says, you want to abort all babies, so why do you need a child care credit for? Scooby Don says, I think Matt had his first son in high school. Turtle says, what the F Kamala know about child care costs? She says she a baby mama. She a step baby mama. Frederico says, can't get a tax credit on $10 eggs, though. John Best says they're incentivizing immigrants to have babies with the tax credit. Key himself says Kamala answered questions like Hafiz from the room. What happened to Hafiz? He gone now? Frederico says Steven Jackson flexing his Freemason swag, allegedly checkerboard. Oh, okay, I guess that's what it is. Mr. Lott says he went to his stylist and says, remember when we played Kaleidoscopes as a... Man, he put on his Sunday's best. New shoes and everything, matching shoes. Christopher Mayberry says Steven Jackson looked like he should have been on his... Y'all insane. I'm biracial thanks to Kim. I can identify as white. That facts. Conflict Corner says when Cam say first-time home buyers and new business owners, she means the immigrants or the migrants. Love USA says you want to wrongly accuse businesses for price gouging while all experts says that's not the case. You want businesses to lay off workers. You getting rid of Trump's energy independence caused it. You getting rid of energy independence caused it. Cornelius Jackson says she said her parents marched during the civil rights. Christopher Brown says, have you interviewed Judge Joe Brown? If not, you need to. Kwame can make that happen for you. You'd be surprised the type of reach that I got. And you'll be surprised the type of interviews that I got coming up. But that's for the future. I don't want to announce anything too early, all right? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Let's talk about this migrant crisis, but we're going to approach it from a different angle. Remember when I was telling y'all that, let me write this down real quick. Remember when I was telling y'all that that Eric Adams no longer wanted to play for play for the home team, and so basically they distanced himself from him. He couldn't go to the Democratic National Convention. Now he's getting indicted and all of this other stuff. Well, it seems as though Brandon Johnson actually learned the lesson from Eric Adams, and he said, listen, I'm not trying to be in the same boat as Eric Adams. I'm going to play ball. Brandon Johnson, the Chicago mayor, says, I'm not trying to be in the same position as Eric Adams. I don't care what y'all do. I don't care how bad the budget deficit is. I don't care how many shot spotter contracts we got to remove. I don't care how many police officers that we down. I don't care if we got a $250 million budget deficit this year, a projected $942 million budget deficit next year. We gonna renew this $100 million contract because we've spent close to $1 billion on migrants in Chicago. And we raise property taxes. Check it out.
And amid a budget crisis and a swirl of controversies, NBC5 Investigates has learned that Mayor Brandon Johnson has signed a $100 million contract extension for Favorite Healthcare Staffing.
Now, that's the Kansas-based company that operated the city's migrant shelters for 2 years. NBC5 Investigates' Bennett Haberly is joining us now with what the mayor had to say about this. Bennett?
Well, Alex, we tried to get some clarity on this, but the mayor sidestepped our questions about why this $100 million contract extension was necessary. Instead, he talked about how his administration has saved Chicagoans money and created jobs. Since August of 2022, Favorite Healthcare Staffing has been paid $291 million to staff the city's migrant shelters.
Can you imagine that? We don't even know who owns Favorite Healthcare Staffing. We know nothing about it. We don't know who the leadership is. We don't know nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. We are so in the dark about how they're using your tax dollars. We are so in the dark. 100%. 100%. It's insane. Chicago. Losing residents. Property taxes is incredible. Have y'all seen Chicago's property taxes? How much they paying for property taxes? And then they just raise the property taxes an egregious amount in order to continue to cover the budget shortfalls, but they still got a budget shortfall coming up.
Through a mix of city tax money and federal funds, the company's been criticized by alders for exorbitant hourly rates between $50 to $156 per hour. And our own investigation last year showed the company routinely billed the city 84 hours per week per employee. Johnson has repeated
84 hours per week per employee at up to $156 an hour. You know why this is called the Millionaire Morning Show? It's because we know that most things come back to the money. Everything comes back to the money. No matter what you're talking about, no matter how you say it, it all comes back to the money. Think about this, Mr. Real High Off Music. A nice round number like 100 million.
Repeatedly said his office saved money through lowering those rates. But since April of this year, the city has been evicting migrants and closing shelters. There are nearly 10,000 fewer migrants in shelter now than there were in January.
You know why? Because they're buying homes now. It's because they're buying homes now. They got their leg up. They got their They got their leg up. They got their free migrant shelters. They got their hotels. They got their gas cards. They got their EBT. They got their cash. They got an opportunity. They got driver's licenses. They got cars, and they purchasing homes now. There are migrants that are purchasing homes in Chicago. Maybe that's the play. Maybe it's because, A, y'all being more responsible. More people are being responsible with their stuff. And so they choosing to take into the costs of what it takes in order to have children. And because it's a double finesse, they know that they can get the money on the front end. And then also they can fix the exodus out of these major cities, these blue cities, because people are moving to Texas. They moving to other places that's more conducive for their lifestyle. And then they can shore up the tax base by creating a new working class that won't ask no questions and will also endear themselves to the Democratic Party. Maybe that's the play. I don't know.
$1 billion budget deficit. That led us to ask Mayor Brandon Johnson about this contract extension. How do we do that amid this budget crisis when there are fewer people in shelter? How do we justify that expense?
So we've saved the taxpayers over $200 million
based upon the work that we've done. Over $200 million, while still investing on the west and south sides of the city of Chicago. That's what I promised to do, was to invest in people, and that's exactly what we're doing.
But as it relates
Hey,
to
did you see the reporter start laughing? The reporter just laughs. Like, you just gonna say that? I'm gonna tell y'all how they get those numbers. I need to show you, let you hear the reporter.
Was to invest in people, and that's exactly what we're doing.
But as it relates to favorite, I mean, we're saying we can't afford one controversial company, but we can afford extending them another $100 million when we have fewer people in shelter. How do you explain that?
There's a reason why. Well, there's a reason why there's actually less spending in sheltering right now. There's less spending. We have spent $70 million less.
So this is how they finesse the numbers. And I don't want y'all to, because see, you know what Democrats do? You know what people do a lot of times? They'll say, no, they'll take a talking point and then no, they saved them over $100 million, over $200 million. No, okay. So this is how that works. You never should have had a budget that's allocated for it in the first place. So whereas you were projected to spend $1 billion, now you only spent $800 million on something that you never should have spent $800 million for in the first place. So then they'll say, no, listen, I saved the people $200 million. No, you cost them $800 million. That's the difference. And so they'll finesse the numbers and say, no, I promised to save the people money, and that's what we're doing. Well, how do you substantiate that? When you've spent close to $1 billion and you have $1 billion budget deficit, the math ain't mathing, big dog. So you negotiated better contracting when you never should have made yourself a sanctuary city in the first place. But they finessing y'all. Let me show y'all how this impacts lives, because it's not just on a financial level, it's also individual. And you know what they'll never do? They'll never acknowledge the victims from not vetting people that come over into this country, because it all comes back down to this. Some way, somehow, it all comes back down to this.
On Friday, Kamala Harris went to the southern border for a photo op where she pretended to actually care about the crisis that she and Joe Biden, well, themselves created. Her half-hearted work as border czar to address the root causes of illegal immigration was clearly, obviously, nothing but a colossal failure and arguably the biggest national security threat in the history of this country. Our country is now filled with the victims of what Donald Trump has called migrant crime, people who have suffered at the hands of Harris, Biden, illegal immigrants, people that didn't respect our law.
They're scrolling up all of the victims. I know a lot of us, we don't like to read. It's a lot of Room 9 people that was on the live last night. But they're showing you all of the victims of the people that were killed in shootouts, maiming, head busters, whatever you want to call it. It's so many people all across the country that are suffering and that are falling victim to people that shouldn't have been in this country in the first place.
Laws, our borders, our sovereignty, people that never should have been allowed into this country. And sadly, some of those victims were lost to the ultimate crime. They were murdered. They're no longer with us. Only their loved ones now remain to warn and remind us of all the dangers of their open borders. And by the way, how many dozens of Americans murdered? We scroll their names all the time. How many Americans have been raped, including children? We scroll their names also. How many Americans, hundreds, victims of violent crimes? We scroll their names too. Anyway, joining us now, two mothers whose daughters were murdered. The suspects, both Harris, Biden, illegal immigrants. Alexis Nungary is the mother of Jocelyn, a 12-year-old little girl who was killed in Texas. Patty Morin is also with us.
Just like her.
And she is the mother of Rachel Morin, who was herself a mother of 5 and was killed in Maryland while out on a run in a local park. Alexis, let me start with your brave little 12-year-old girl who she was brutalized for hours. This young 12-year-old girl, according to all reports, fought back, bit these attackers, scratched these attackers, fought for her life, and that went on for a significant period of time, and then they murdered and threw in a river. I don't know how you recover from that. And then you see Kamala Harris now, who'd been telling you for 3 years that the border's secure, out of her own mouth, that, you know, the border's closed, border's secure. What was your reaction to this trip on Friday?
I think Kamala Harris's border trip this past Friday was such a sham. It was the most disgraced, hollow effort I've ever seen from a candidate for presidency. Quite frankly, it pissed me the hell off when I saw it. She's been in charge over the border for more than 3 years. She's done absolutely nothing in effects to that. She not once has gone to the border until recently to what was there maybe a matter of 20 minutes. She had a pit stop there from one destination to another. She had all her right people there to get all the right angles for all her photos. If I wasn't invited, I was invited to the border the last time with Trump. I was not invited this time. And if I was there this time and I would have witnessed how she handled that entire interaction, I would have walked up to her and I would have asked her, with this same effort you're giving, which is not any, would it be the same if this was your daughter that you had to bury? Would you move the same way? Because it's not okay. It's not okay. It was very disgusting that she was there a matter of 20 minutes, didn't speak with any ground people, any agents, any border people of council. No, she spoke with members of management and, like I said, was like what's been said, was there for a photo op. Nothing was done. She's done nothing, and it was a complete disgrace. It was very, very appalling that it's very convenient. She wanted to be there 1 month before elections. How convenient she did this for a political gain for herself, because she's not once reached out to me nor my family to even just give condolences, regardless of the right side or the left side. It's about humane. And I lost my 12-year-old daughter to illegal immigrants that the Biden-Harris administration border policies have let in this country, and we're not safe anymore. We do not have safe border control anymore. She's done absolutely nothing, and it's because of people like Kamala Harris and Colin Allred, who's running for senator of Texas, which is where I'm at. People like that, they don't keep the people safe. They don't keep our children safe. We need somebody who will actually make change and actually do something, and that's not Kamala.
That's heavy. That's heavy. Real talk. That's some heavy stuff right there. While you got Brandon Johnson signing $100 million contracts in Chicago in order to continue to support the migrant crisis, Eric Adams is getting indicted. The people that's on the ground, the border agents, and then the ones that suffer from bad decision making and letting our borders and leaving our borders open. This woman right here, for example, I might have to do a separate video on this because this is heavy. It's heavy. Yo, I could not imagine I ain't even about to put myself in that situation. Like, I don't even want to frame it. I don't even want to open my mouth to even say that. But could you imagine this mother going through and learning the details that her young daughter fought back illegal migrants that brutalized her and dumped her off in a river after they took her life, after they did whatever it is that they wanted to do with her? No acknowledgement, no conversation. You know, I was listening to Ricky Smiley, and Ricky Smiley says, yeah, man, because when my son passed, Kamala Harris hit me up because she a part of the Divine Nine, and she said, you okay, bruh? You need something? Meanwhile, you got women like this on a regular basis, and parents and people that are basically lives is just turned upside down by the very thing that you allow to happen inside of this country, and you are silent. Whisper. 20-minute photo op, you out of there. 20-minute photo op, and you out of there. Had the people on standby, made sure that they was in their uniforms, made that you got some good pictures, and got up out of there. I'm still waiting on somebody to say Laken Riley's name. I'm still waiting on, I seared that name into my brain. I'm still waiting on somebody to say Laken Riley. They had a lot to say about Sonia Massey. Hit Ricky Smiley up. You all right, bro? I know you're a part of the boule. All of these other people, they don't even get an invite. They don't want to hear what you got to say. They know what you're going through. They know what you had to say. Ain't nothing to talk about. How do y'all sit here and talk about how this woman is so nice and she's got so much humanity and all of this stuff, and this is what they dealing with? This is what people are dealing with on a regular basis. Giving her these softball interviews on a regular basis. It's so dumb. Dean Murray is in the building. Shout out to Dean Murray. He says, at least Aiden Ross wore a real suit when he interviewed Donald Trump. That's a fact. That is 100% facts. Shout out to you, Dean Murray. I appreciate you. Frederico says, let's be trans illegals and move to Chicago. Who's with me? Move to New York. They're giving out better benefits. AD, hair's down bad over here. You flipped my family. Shout out to my family down there. Billy Ray Valentine. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Hey, get up off that Democratic train, man. It's bad. Love USA says, what about giving $13,000 a month free phone, food, shelters, free flights to those American citizens stranded and hurt and lost everything by the hurricanes? I'm glad you said that because we're about to talk about that. Kamala Harris and the Democrats. Shout out to you, Love USA. I appreciate you. Controlled Substance Podcast says favorite healthcare services is owned by London-based Acacium Group. Looks like we got to do a little bit of research. Trump donated $25 million of his own money to hurricane victims, by the way. Let's deep dive. Let's deep dive for a second. All right. Before we start talking about what Trump did, let's backtrack for a second. And let's talk about the hurricane itself and how it's continuing to upend people's lives, including in North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, all of that, right? Let me give y'all an update of what's happening.
Good evening and welcome. These are desperate hours in the storm zone tonight. Now 4 days after making landfall in Florida, the aftermath of Hurricane Helene still inflicting maximum pain on communities in North Carolina and Tennessee. Many still cut off from power, running water, and communications. The death toll still rising. By an NBC News count, 121 people are now confirmed dead, as a grim search is carried out for the many still unaccounted for. Much of the destruction set.
We will be probably live streaming the vice president debate tonight on After Hours. So make sure y'all tuned in on After Hours. It'll probably be me, Carrie, Slimmy, and my dog Quentin. So we probably gonna live stream the debate tonight. We gonna have it. That's the one that I've been looking forward to. So I got you.
Centered on the city of Asheville. A Charlotte councilman volunteering in the Lake Lure Chimney Rock area, posting these horrific images, what he could only describe as a post-apocalyptic landscape. So much left unrecognizable after the region was pummeled by floods, washing homes and neighborhoods away. Families short of so many things and beginning to grow short on patience, too. George Solis is in North Carolina for us tonight. George, how is the recovery going?
Lester, recovery efforts are ongoing, certainly not making things any easier. The rain, officials telling us they have received thousands of calls, but they've prioritized 150, trying to get to those people that are elderly and medically dependent. Tonight, Hurricane Helene has moved on, but left in its wake a trail of death and destruction. Officials in North Carolina say they were blinded by Helene's sheer intensity. Homes swept away. North Carolina say they were blinded by Helene's sheer intensity. Homes.
Hey, didn't we just do a whole thing about moving to North Carolina? Was that North Carolina? We just did a whole video about the possibility of moving to North Carolina and the fact that it's becoming a tech hub and all of that stuff. What parts of North Carolina is this devastated? That's a whole house that's just, the whole road is destroyed. Jesus Christ.
Swept away, restaurants and shops torn to pieces, communities cut off from clean water and electricity, leaving residents nowhere to go.
Shelters are at capacity. Those shelters only provide overnight lodging, food, and water.
FEMA is not at these locations. This is basic necessities only.
Asheville, among the hardest hit, tonight remains largely cut off from relief, frustrating residents.
Nobody's going to help us. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do.
Do you have any faith in the federal response here?
No. Ricky
and Devonna Brown's auto shop has been in this location for 30 years.
It's just devastating. I mean, it's just hard to see it. I mean, it's just hard to come and look at. You know what I mean? This is your whole life right here. And it's this old building to somebody. But to us, this is our life.
Drop-off of communication has left relatives of missing locals pleading with officials for information on their loved ones.
What do you say to the residents who feel that the local and federal response wasn't fast enough following this storm?
So first, people are working around the clock. What we want to tell people is that more help is on the way and help is continuing.
In North Carolina, every single county has been impacted. The western part of the state by catastrophic flooding, the eastern half by heavy rains and tornadoes.
Do you have the manpower right now to handle this response?
So this is a multi-federal agency response, which is why we're bringing in people from across the federal government.
FEMA says they'll deploy 1,200 first responders to the state to support relief efforts. Relief that can't come soon enough for towns like Boone, 2 hours north of Asheville, where mudslides rip through neighborhoods. 100 miles south, the river in Henderson County reached 30 feet.
Oh my God.
30 feet? Did he say 30? 30 feet? Time to move inland. Time to move inland. I know a lot of people are saying, oh man, you know, North Carolina, y'all want to move to warmer. Nope. You know, that's the one thing that we don't have to worry about here in Michigan. It's the one thing that we don't have to worry about. We just don't have to worry about this type of stuff. In my entire 42 years on the face of this earth, the only thing that I've had to deal with was when Clinton was in office and we had like a snowmageddon to where we had to basically, you know, everything was covered. The city, I was living in Detroit at the time, like in the inner city, in the neighborhoods, and it took a while. Now, I will say that during that time, I made thousands of dollars. I think I was like in high school or middle school or something like that. I made so much money. That's the only thing that I could ever remember really happening in Michigan was it was like a snowmageddon. And then we had like the power outage where like the whole East Coast had went out or something like that, but that had nothing to do with anything. But I made like thousands of dollars during that snow thing because I was over there charging neighbors and I was walking around the neighborhoods and we were shoveling people out and people was paying us a lot of money. So it's too cold in Michigan. Well, you ain't got no house in North Carolina. You sitting under 30 feet of rain. 30 feet. 30 feet. Pick your poison. You can go with forest fires on the West Coast, along with earthquakes. You can go with hurricanes and flooding and tornadoes in the South. You can go with the cold in the Midwest. Pick your poison. It's up to you. You're never gonna get everything in one package. You gotta pick your poison. Which one you got? You don't want no home, or you want some snow in the wintertime. It's up to you.
Smashing all previous flood records. Rivers and lakes jam with debris. Back in Asheville, residents don't know where to even begin.
It's a lot of work, destroyed a lot of things that I loved, of course, and my business and my job and my livelihood and all that. So, you know, I don't know.
And George, what is the status of the communications right now in Asheville?
Lester, conditions are only slowly starting to improve. There is better service here, and word tonight from the White House that the president will be in North Carolina on Wednesday. Lester?
All right, George.
Is that tomorrow? When did the Hurricane Helene come through? Hurricane Helene hit almost a week ago. About a week ago. It was like 5 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, right? Because they destroyed It was over there beating up on Cancun and all of that stuff, right? And then it hit landfall late last week. And they talking about they're gonna show up on Wednesday? What, y'all got something better to do? What else you got to do? You ain't got nothing better to do? Thursday, Friday. Y'all said Thursday, Friday last week. So now you telling me you gonna pull up 6 days later? 6 days later, you gonna come through to survey the damage. Is this similar to what I remember when George Bush flew over Louisiana, flew over New Orleans and Louisiana when they had the levees, when they did the levees, and they basically flooded out the area? You gonna pull up 6 days, 7 days later? They got all the response in the world for Ukraine. All of the energy in the world to make sure that they fight for reproductive rights. All the energy in the world to take care of people that ain't got nothing to do, and migrants and all of this stuff. Ain't got no energy, no response, slow responses. People out there starving, dying. I seen videos on TikTok of alligators and junk like that swimming ashore and stuff. This is your leadership. So they failing at the ports, they failing when it comes to natural disasters, and they failing when it comes to make sure that they support American citizens. So they just failing. Everything is a fail.
Elise, thank you. In neighboring Tennessee, an agonizing wait for so many who have yet to hear from missing loved ones, and harrowing stories of those who made it to safety and those who did not. Priscilla Thompson is there. Priscilla, what challenges are crews facing now in this search effort?
Is Biden asleep at the wheel?
Well, Lester, the challenge here is massive debris piles like this one as the search for the missing intensifies.
Tonight, the floodwaters in Tennessee have receded, but the pain is still flowing for some families.
They are just desperate to find out where she is, if she's been found. They just want news.
Rosa Andrade and Monica Hernandez Corona are among the 150 people still unaccounted for in Tennessee, officials say, after 3 agonizing days. Authorities say more than 100 responders are scouring debris, as today efforts shifted from rescues to recovery. They confirm only 3 storm-related deaths in the state so far.
What do y'all do? Do y'all rebuild? Y'all just put the roads back and y'all start to rebuild your houses and then y'all just wait for the next natural disaster to come through? How do you deal with something like this?
They used everything they had.
Because I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm moving to a whole nother place. I'm moving to a safer place. It's better for my family.
Save life that day. Some were saved. We're still searching for some. We all have hopes that we will find some more alive.
Relatives say Rosa and Monica were working at Impact Plastics factory when the water began to rise, and that they got into the back of a semi-truck trying to escape. A man who says he was also on that truck posted this video online, showing water rushing by as cars and yellow pipes floated away.
Their family members were in the back of an 18-wheeler holding onto pipes, calling 911 for help. And that help didn't come.
In a statement, Impact Plastics says when the parking lot and service road began to flood, employees were dismissed, but that some remained.
So wait, y'all was still working? Y'all was still working at Impact Plastics when the waters was coming in and they was like, all right, y'all can go home now? I'm staying. This is dumb. This is so dumb.
Boarding a neighboring company's truck as the flooding intensified. That truck tipped over, Impact Plastics says. 5 people were rescued by helicopter, but 6 others were never found. We are devastated by the tragic loss of great employees, the company wrote. Loss made all the more painful by the wait for answers.
They are really grieving, and all that they really want is closure. They just want closure for their families.
Priscilla Thompson, NBC News, Irwin, Tennessee.
This disaster is already having an impact on the presidential campaign, with former President Trump on the ground in the storm zone in Georgia, while Vice President Harris just spoke at FEMA headquarters in Washington. Garrett Hake now has that part of the story for us.
Tonight, former President Trump visiting the storm zone in Valdosta, Georgia, coming with Franklin Graham's aide group, bringing trucks loaded with supplies and fuel.
We're here today to stand in complete solidarity with the people of Georgia.
And hammering Vice President Harris for not being there herself.
Of course, the vice president, she's out someplace campaigning, looking for money.
The quality of the federal storm response could have a major political impact on the vice president, who's hoping to repeat President Biden's narrow 2020 Georgia win. Harris was briefed aboard Air Force Two, cutting campaigning short in Las Vegas to return to Washington, meeting with FEMA officials tonight.
We will do everything in our power to help communities respond and recover. I plan to be on the ground as soon as possible, but as soon as possible without disrupting any emergency response operations.
Trump also accusing the White House.
How do you disrupt? You're the vice president of the United States of America. How do you get there as soon as possible without disrupting the current what slows down the current operations with you being there and seeing exactly what's going on? Let me just replay that because I'm sorry.
We will do everything in our power to help communities respond and recover. I plan to be on the ground as soon as possible, but as soon as possible without disrupting any emergency response operations.
Is this like, are we in a simulation? Somebody said it in the chat. They said this is like an SNL skit. It's let's move on. Let's go to Trump. Let's talk about what Trump had to do. Trump's response to this, we need to go into that. Let me read some of the super chats and we'll go into Trump. KDX 8300 says, just giving a small contribution to the show. No, listen, it's very much appreciated. Thank you, my friend. It's very, very much appreciated. Black Silverchair says, Anton, I have a disagreement with you. Let's talk. Let's talk about what? Okay, I mean, you got a disagreement. That's unfortunate. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry that you disagree with me. Aaron 218 says, just in, it's illegal for homeless to sleep in Florida. Interesting. Abe the Hunter. I'm sorry that you have a disagreement with me, fam. Abe the Hunter says, what gets me, AD? Hey, do y'all think that, like, just because y'all got a I mean, like, say it in the chat. What you think? What do you all want me to do? Give you my phone number? You want to call me? What they want me to do? You gonna send me an email and then you gonna hit me up or something? Like, I don't. What does that mean? You got a disagreement. Oh, okay. Like, I disagree. Listen, when I went and kicked it with somebody yesterday, they asked me a question and I disagree with them also. I was like, all right. Abe the Hunter says, what gets me, AD, is they will build actually the same type of houses instead of dome homes that built for all types of environmental issues like this. Got to take your environment into consideration. Shelly O says, this entire political landscape is one big SNL skit. Yep, you said it. But in real life, as a black woman, I am embarrassed and we cannot keep voting on optics. Pure foolery. Jamil says, you know Slow Joe can't be out here walking around all that debris, straight up trip hazard. I don't want him to slip and fall. Clavetta Drew says, some reports say 1,000 people are missing. Oh, so they underreporting. Okay, all right. Therese says, Kamala is a female homeland. A lot of people don't even know what Homelander is. Hey, what do y'all want me to do if y'all got a disagreement? Like, do y'all want me to, like, make myself available? How do y'all think that I should handle that? What exactly does that mean? Like, do y'all want me to, how do y'all want me to deal with disagreements? I don't know. I can't give y'all my phone number. I'm sorry. Hey, man, on one says, good morning, AD, all word salad. Where's the Italian dressing? I don't know. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's go to Trump. I can't do nothing. If you disagree with me, I don't even know what you're disagreeing about. Let's go to Trump's response to the whole situation. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Let's see what's happening.
Right there, Mr. Scott, here's right here, and then we will have Franklin right here, but he's over there, and then the boss obviously right here, and then Mr. Harper, you're gonna be right here. You need to give them a little bit of some love, and then there, here. And we'll have to just do a little bit of adjusting when it comes up to make sure
Hogan's place on the beach got hit.
Tyler Harper, we all know. Mike Collins, we all know. Congressman, and Austin Scott, great congressman, two incredible patriots. Kelly Loeffler, former U.S. Senator, highly respected person. Everybody loves her. Ross Goodman, state senator. John Corbett, state representative. Paige Dukes, we know. Patrick, a short period. So I want to thank everybody. And we came down with truckloads of things, and we're going to have that done by Franklin's incredible organization. They've done such a good job. We've done this before, but we have a lot of truckloads of different items, from oil to water to all sorts of equipment that's going to help them. But we're here today to stand in complete solidarity with the people of Georgia and with all of those suffering in the terrible aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene turned out to be a big one, like.
So wait a minute. So the Biden administration is completely silent on it. Kamala Harris said that they're going to get out there when they can. And Trump is already on the ground, and he donating his own money, and he putting out supplies, and he's helping the people right there on the ground. Again, let me say this. Let me summarize this, because I know Eric D is bad at this. Eric D feels a certain type of way inside of the chat. Trump is already on the ground with his own money, donating to the cause and having a conversation about how it is that he can help the victims out there on the ground, especially in North Carolina. And he already there. But the very people that's in office right now, because you can't let the person that's not in office outwork you on the ground that's helping the people. Regardless of how you want to say it and regardless of how you frame it, how can you let the person that's not even in office appear on the ground and also spend their own resources to help the people before you even get there? You could listen, you can't get mad at him. You got to get mad. How you gonna get mad at him for beating you when you the president and vice president of the United States of America? You got every resource at your disposal. Because y'all show up for Ukraine, you show up for Israel, immediately on the ground for Israel. How you let somebody else show up on the ground in the place that you supposed to be in with supplies, and you talking about I get there when I can? And this was yesterday. This ain't even a day. This was September 30th. So this was Monday. Y'all said y'all might not even be pulling up till maybe Wednesday if it interrupts one of your campaign rally stops. This was yesterday he was out there.
It's about the biggest that anyone's seen. I spoke with all of the relief people, all of the people that do this for a living and do this at least to help, and they said they've never seen one this bad. Valdosta has been ravaged. The town is very, very badly hurting, and many thousands are without power. They're running low on food and fuel. We brought a lot of it down with us. It's going to be distributed now or soon throughout Georgia, as well as North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Alabama, and Tennessee. That's our big one. And the devastation wrought by this storm is incredible. It's so extensive. Nobody thought this would be happening, especially now it's so late in the season for the hurricanes. Homes, hospitals, highways, and cars have been plunged underwater. Entire neighborhoods have been turned into lakes. Nobody's seen anything like it. And to every family that's been displaced here in Georgia and North Carolina, which has really been hit, we were going there also, and they don't have communication. They don't have anything right now. We're trying to. I just spoke to Elon. I'm getting him. We want to get Starlink hooked up because they have no communication whatsoever. And Elon will always come through. We know that. And so
nice to have friends in high places. Nice to have friends in high places, huh?
Working on that, getting them hooked up. They asked me whether or not that would be possible. We're going to try and get the Starlink in there as soon as possible because they have no communication. And throughout the region, our hearts are with you, and we are going to be with you as long as you need. It's called an hour of need. You're in our prayers.
So he able to pull strings and make sure that he get things taken care of, and he not even the president of the United States of America. And he pulling up in order to make sure that the American people is taken care of. Okay, so is this a bad thing for him, or is this actually it makes the current administration look bad? Just wondering.
And we pray to God.
Because we'll give hundreds, tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars to the migrant crisis and to foreign aid and military equipment and military use and actual cash. But the people that's devastated right here, this is how I know that we don't even really care about this country. We don't care about the people in this country. We don't care about this country. We genuinely care more about the people that's outside of the country than the people that's actually here on the ground. We will make sure that they taken care of. Now, if you need something, your business wash away or whatever, we can't find you. We don't know nothing about you. We'll get there when we can. But they will advocate for it. Bipartisan agreement. Get this bill passed. Get these people taken care of. You don't see no federal response the way that it's supposed to be when we knew that this was going to happen. You knew this hurricane was coming in inland and you wasn't prepared for it.
And throughout the long weeks that lay ahead, you're going to have a lot of work, but the end result is it's going to be good. We just wish so many people weren't so badly hurt, and in many cases, sadly, no longer with us. We love you. We love everyone. I mean, to be honest, we love everyone. And we'll be back, and we'll be back again soon. And we'll continue to help until you're bigger, I say bigger, better, stronger than ever before. But again, you can't ever discount the fact that people are lost. A lot of people have been lost in this terrible storm, this terrible hurricane. It's a storm that's also taken the lives of, I guess they have a count of 91, but that count changes on an hourly basis, and it goes only in one direction, unfortunately up, but at least 91 people already. And to the families and loved ones of those who have perished, we mourn alongside of you, and we grieve every single life so tragically lost. I'd like to now ask for a moment of silence and prayer, if you would, for those.
Whoop, don't say prayer. Don't say prayer. You know, people are against prayer. Listen, even in a hurricane disaster, they'll start to protest against you. Don't say prayer. Don't say prayer. Oh, you gonna pray for people? We don't want your prayers. We vote for Kamala Harris. We're part of the alphabet community.
Who have died. Thank you.
Moment of silence? Mm-mm. They don't do that inside of the presidential office no more. Prayer? Nope, we don't do that. Putting your head down? Wait a minute. The leader's saying put your head down.
Thank you very much. As you know, our country is in the final weeks of a hard-fought national election. But in a time like this, when a crisis hits, when our fellow citizens cry out in need, none of that matters. We're not talking about politics now. We have to all get together and get this solved. We need a lot of help. They have to have a lot of help down here. We look out for one another. We pull together. We pitch in. We persevere, and we pull it through. That is really the American spirit. That's what made America originally great. And that's why today I've come to Valdosta with large semi-trucks, many of them, filled with relief aid, and a tanker truck filled up with gasoline. We have a couple of the big tanker trucks filled up with gasoline, which they can't get now. And we'll be working to distribute it throughout the day. And I want to thank again Franklin Graham and everyone at Samaritan's Purse. You people are fantastic, by the way, just fantastic. And people appreciate you very much for the incredible partnering and work that they've done, not only here, but all the time. They always seem to be the first ones at areas that need help. A short time ago, I received a briefing on the situation here in Valdosta from FEMA and the National Guard, as well as a number of state and local officials, quite a few of them. It's amazing the way it's just all been pulled together. Really amazing. I want to thank Mayor Scott James, Valdosta, where is Scott? Hey, Scott. Thank you very much. Really great. Really great job. I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and Agricultural Commissioner Tyler Harper, representatives, as I said before, Austin Scott and Mike.
Yeah, we get it. We get it. So shout out to Trump for pulling up with his own money to show love to people and doing what presidents do. Because honestly, I feel like Trump is already our president. I know that we supposedly got them in office and they getting a salary and all of this stuff. Trump never even took a salary. He didn't. I feel like Trump is already our president. Because he do president's things. You know what I'm saying? Like he's leading the country without even being incentivized to do so. So shout out to Trump. Let me read some of these cash apps. Frank Wright says, thanks for the real talks and the wake-up calls. Absolutely, my friend. I appreciate you, Frank. Christopher Mayberry says it will pay for itself. Rand Wilson says they found large deposits of lithium in North Carolina. Interesting. Let me read some of these super chats. Black Silver Chair says, you used to take disagreement calls on the show or have disagreement days where people call into the show. Do you still do those? No, not really. I don't really have the capacity to do that right now. If y'all want me to do a special show, then I could do like an after hour show. I do an after hour smoke show or something like that, a special show. But I'd have to make a special exception to be able to do that. Alpha Eskimo says everybody disagree until it's time to cam up. That's true. That is true. Steven Slayer 1 says Avengers, Trump is Cap, Vance is Thor, Elon is Iron Man, Tulsi is Black Widow, and RFK is the Hulk. I see you. All right, thank you, Steven Slayer 1. Smooth Artist says Trump is America first. Man still got legal battles and he fighting and still the resources to donate and help those in need. Man, I hope that he wins. We ain't got to hope. Eric D is going to be so upset. Christopher Mayberry says, why not treat the situation the same way that they did Brittany Griner? More Than Mellow says, have an interview with IT support. Wish me luck. God bless you, big dog. You got it. Listen to Interview Like a King. Victor Williams says, regardless, Eric D, regardless if you think it's a photo op or not, he's the one out there doing something and providing help. Something the people want, not an opinion, from a smooth brain behind a keyboard. Okay. Levi Apparel says, pray these people get the financial, food, and aid. Red Belly, shout out to Red Belly. I like that name. That's a dope name. Says, did you catch Byron Daniels on the Breakfast Club yet? Angela Rye and Byron had a very interesting conversation regarding Trump and Kamala's policies. But I'll write it down. I'll check it out. Thank you. I appreciate it. When did Angela Rye is the new Teslin on there, basically. Charles Blanco says, never in the awful history of this country has the government pushed for illegal immigration or illegal migration till now. Why? Darshawn says, yesterday was my birthday. Let me get a shout out Trump 2024. Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday to everybody. End of September, beginning of October, all of the October babies and the September babies. What up? And happy birthday to y'all. Blockchain Brian says, peace, people sitting in a dental chair. Still had to tap in when I could. Please keep North Carolina in your prayers. Yeah, man. God bless North Carolina. I hope everything works out for y'all. Speaking of lithium, is anyone investing in Energy X? I'll put it in the Discord. Yeah, put it in the Discord and let's discuss it. All right. So the final thing that I want to talk about, I actually was planning on talking about this yesterday, but I'm going to talk about it right now. The final thing that I want to talk about is I kind of want to summarize and break down, and I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to just play a couple of different clips. Okay. Just a couple of different clips. But I want to talk about what I learned from doing street interviews because lately I've been in the streets and I've been trying to figure out what's going on. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. I've been trying to figure out what the people really want because I don't trust these polls. I was asking y'all a question a week ago, a couple weeks ago, and I regularly ask and I say, where are they getting this information? Who are they polling? How is this happening? And then eventually I started getting text messages to my phone. Do you think that Trump would be well for the economy? Do you think that Kamala Harris would do well, hit yes or no, or put 1 or 2 or whatever like that, right? And so I believe that most of these polls are flawed. I don't believe it. And so I decided to head out to the streets everywhere I go. I decided to head out to the streets to find out what people really think and what the sentiment is and what the vibes are. Okay. So I want to play a couple of different things on here. The first thing, well, here, I'll give you an intro of what it was that I was doing in the streets for those of you that's not familiar.
On is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I think that what people say on the internet versus what they say in real life is two different things. So I've made it my quest to come out and talk to the people in real life. In real life is people all around me. Check it out. What's going on? So I've made it my quest to talk to the people in real life to better understand whether or not they are voting for the left or the right and the reasons why. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon.
So I'm actually, and when y'all see me in the streets, I know a lot of people run into me. Some of y'all pull up next to me in my car and you say, "Oh, what up, Anton?" Or you may see me doing street interviews, or you just may see me walking and having a good time. We're all in the air. You may see me recording, vlogging or something. Say what up. Say what up. I don't bite. I'm cool. I love kicking it with people. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fun person to have a conversation with. So I'm gonna play a couple of different things. I want to show a couple of different reactions to this street interview. So this is the first couple that I want to show, and this is a black woman and a black man because I think that there's three different demographics of people. All right, I'm gonna show y'all three. Actually, I'll show you three different people, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts. This is the first group of people that I want to show you.
Harris.
They gave money to do it. Who are you voting for and why?
I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
Why you look at him? Y'all don't know? y'all.
No, I know we was talking about it.
Okay.
Because she's black and the first female.
He's black?
She's black and the first female president.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm voting for.
Anything in particular that is concerning with you as far as like something particular that you want to see solved for or change or anything like that?
Nothing in particular. I think just making history. Okay. She's the first black and female president.
Okay. All right, that's cool. Anything y'all want to add before it's all over?
Who are you voting for?
I'm voting for Kamala.
But it sounds like you voting for.
No,
you don't want to make. You don't want to make.
So the first thing that I noticed is that black men that were with their women, off camera, on camera, was dedicated to getting boxed. Black men will do anything for the box. They're weak for the box. This is my honest to God, real life assessment of what I've been seeing in the streets. I'm gonna be releasing more street interviews for you guys, but they will do anything and say anything to see it through. They have no backbone. I've also noticed, well, we'll get to that other part. They just agree with whatever the woman says. And if she got a pretty face or they holding hands with her, I can guarantee you, I will bet the house 100% that they be simping out for the woman that they with. They look to her to answer first. A lot of times I'm like, "Hey man," and this is the interesting part about it. I'll be like, "Hey, y'all want to answer a question, just one quick question or whatever," because I'm pretty personable and I have no problem walking up to people, strangers, having conversations. I know a lot of people are apprehensive about public speaking or interacting with strangers. I have no problem going up to people and kicking it with people and doing street interviews and nothing like that. So I have no apprehension whatsoever. But a lot of times I'll walk up to a couple or a couple will pass me and say, "Hey, what's that?" Oh, I'll talk to them or whatever, give them my little spiel pitch, convince them to come over and talk on camera. And then I'll say, "Okay, so which one of y'all want to do it?" Like, I don't pick. I just let them decide what they want to do. They always push their women to speak for them. They never, ever, ever, not one time, and I've done a whole lot of street interviews, not one time that they stand up and say, "Hey, listen, I'll do it. I'll take the question." They throw their women out there, married, unmarried. They push their women out in front of the camera. And they be like, sometimes they even be off camera when their woman is talking. They push their women. Listen to what I'm saying. It's even more than just who you vote for in the presidential election. They push their women to me. I'm miking them up. One girl told me, "Oh, you can put it up through my shirt." I looked at him. I'm looking at her. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at her. I'm looking at. Nah, you're not about to catch me on that one. He like, honestly, not him. He didn't say that. He didn't say that in particular. But you can fish it up through my shirt because I put the mic on him. I put the lav mic on him or whatever. The wireless microphone. She ain't got no bra. I can tell she ain't got no bra. Nah, listen. Let me just clip this onto your purse. Just keep it close to your face. I'm good. How y'all pushing y'all chick on me? So then she started talking, and then the woman will usually grill the guy and be like, okay, and who you voting for? I'm going for Kamala. No backbone. No backbone whatsoever. It is the weirdest thing. I don't know where they made y'all at. I don't know where they got y'all from. This girl right here too. She was heavily Kamala supporter. Her man was off. I think, if I remember correctly, her man was off in the background or whatever like that or whatever. So, we clipped it up right there and we got it popping. The second group of people that I want to talk about, I'm gonna show this guy right here. And everybody was cool. Everybody was cool. Everybody got good energy. They usually match the energy that you match them with, all right?
I'm with it. I appreciate you. Who are you voting for and why?
This guy.
Why they had to put me on this one? I actually was going for Trump.
All right. And why are you going for Trump?
He might not keep America safe inside, but he can keep America safe. That's what I feel like. You don't have to worry about foreign countries coming. That's like.
I feel you. I like that.
Well, her with keeping America safe, I really don't know, but Trump ain't playing.
Nah, he ain't playing no games. So I'm with you.
That's the only, but far as inside, but he gonna keep America safe.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to live like over there.
Okay.
Regardless of whether you're on camera or you off camera, my job in this situation, and I think that people could appreciate that when I'm doing street interviews or even when I'm doing the interview itself, I don't push my own views. Y'all know what I think. I've beat y'all over the head with my opinion on a regular basis, and that's why I got my own solo vlogs, right? I got my own solo thoughts. My goal is to get the authentic thoughts of what the people is, and then let y'all decide and let y'all react to it. And so my goal is to get people to open up and share their true thoughts. So I'm objective out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell them what to do or anything like that. I've seen a lot of people saying, Anton, you should take the moment to educate them. No, they'll see the comments and y'all educating them and y'all giving them the game. But what I've noticed from black guys that were solo, they all was voting for Trump. Black men that were by themselves or that was with their homeboys, drunk or whether they was sober, sometimes, I will say that sometimes they were apprehensive to get on camera because they didn't want to be criticized or they didn't want to be held accountable if the video went viral or they didn't know how big I was. Because I don't go and say, oh, I'm Anton, I got this platform on YouTube. I don't say that. I just say, all right, y'all want to do a street interview? Oh, what it's going to be on? Probably on YouTube. I'll give you the information if you want to view it or whatever when I drop it and stuff like that. So I don't go out there and say what my platform is and stuff because it makes people more apprehensive because they know a lot of people will watch it. But guys, men, black men specifically that were by themselves, that was not with a woman, 9 times out of 10, they said that they was voting for Trump. And then this last person that I'm going to show y'all right here, he probably gave, from the first interview that I released, he probably gave the most coherent answer of everybody, and he just so happened to be a white guy. Because I'm about diversity, equity, and inclusion, right?
About whether or not what you're going to do is going to give me the ability to be able to vote for and why.
I'm voting for less government, so I'm voting for a Republican.
Nice. What do you mean by less government?
I want less government intrusion, I want less wars, I want less handouts, I want accountability, I want a secured border, and I want economy that's stabilized and equalized for not just the middle class, for everybody.
So you don't like the idea that we just opened up the borders and let 15 to 21 million people in here?
No, it's not. That's not. I mean, come on. How's that going to do anything but make unstable areas where they're putting all those people?
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem with immigration. It's just got to be
legal,
and it's got to be funneled in a controlled.
Yeah.
Certain amount of. Okay, you have sanctuary cities that will accept a certain amount of people, but they don't want 20,000 in Springfield, Ohio.
Yep.
You know, we might take 1,500 and then 2,000 and then everybody, and then we get a structure working for these people that where they're, they have the ability and they're learning the laws and the languages, because let's face it, they're coming from countries that they're not speaking English.
That's correct.
And so how are you supposed to get along? And you're just thrown into the mix and, hey, come here, we'll throw money at you, but you gotta don't F up, so you can't blame them, but you're upset at the same time at the elected officials that allow this to happen.
Yeah. He was one of the most, and again, you talking to people that's out having a good time late at night, stuff like that. But I find that white men overwhelmingly, I didn't find any white men personally yet that said that they were voting for Kamala Harris. So that's pretty much the general idea. I think that people are afraid, especially with social media, and I think that they should be. But if you see me in the streets and you want to do a street interview, I will be doing more of them. Come and holler at me, come and kick it with me, and we're gonna have a conversation. All right. So just a little fun tidbit, just some thoughts, and I'll continue to share my thoughts with you guys as I do more of these street interviews. I'll probably be on Fox News tonight prior to the debate, so we're gonna probably have that conversation. I'll read super chat shortly. I'll probably do Fox News tonight, and then we're gonna do after hours. All right. Back doing the Millionaire Morning Show in the morning. And anything else? Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. The best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. Get your tickets to come and see me in person before the election in Atlanta, November 2nd, and then in Detroit, December 14th, and then come and kick it with your boy. I think that's it. Let me read some of these super chats, and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here tonight. Anthony Wright Network says all disagreeers will be exposed in 2024 in my Cat Williams voice. All right, I see you, big dog. Jamil says 3.3 billion Google data center going to Charleston, South Carolina. Mark the Guardian says we evaluated 7 U.S. embassies under Biden-Harris, and they don't fear us overseas. J Ben, my dog, says folks know Sad Bay watching. That's why they duck from the. Oh, all right. You did give me some insight. They duck from the camera. They ain't trying to explain to LaQuintisha who Keisha is and why she's smiling big. Yeah, I'll feel you on that one. BZE says, AD, I work as security, and I realize when I approach couples, the guys always let the woman speak for them and they stay quiet. Yeah, I'm starting to notice a lot of that too. So it's a lack of masculinity and testosterone out in these streets. All right, y'all. So if you see me on Fox News tonight prior to going live on after hours, come and holler at me. But I'm thinking that we probably gonna live stream the debate tonight, so we're gonna see what's happening with that. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm about to get to work. The real work starts once I go off the live stream. All right. So I hope y'all appreciate it. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. The best time to join the Patreon is now. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.